right, welcome to those of you that stayed. We are ready to start our graduation resolution training. This training will be recorded and the PowerPoint posted for your registrars or people that are listening in online or that would like to come back later and listen to it because today is the first day of school. We hope that you get everything you need to out of this. Please ask us questions. We'll be answering those questions as we go. We're trying to give you, in the spirit of transparency that we talked about this morning, giving you more information, sometimes it's more than you want, but more information to be able to do the tasks that you need. Our goal this year is to have perfect graduation.
100%.
100% graduation, that your records match our records. And this training is part of getting ready to do that and having the time to do that. So welcome to all of you that are online. And I didn't introduce myself for those of you that are just listening in. My name is Joellen Schaefer. I am the assessment director here at USOE. We have two people that are running this training this morning, and that is Erin Bruff and Sarah Wall from our data and statistics team. And so they're going to be going through this graduation resolution training with you. And so I'll turn the time now over to Erin.
Thank you. I still have to hold it up.
Yes.
You think?
Like a rubber.
There you go. There we go. Okay. Welcome to this training. We're just going to start getting into this. What we want to do first is just talk about the importance of graduation, how it's done, where it's used and such, just kind of some background information so and I think most of you are aware how important this is because it does fall into different accountabilities and such. So if we can advance to the next slide.
Erin?
Yes.
Just so you know, there are 101 people logged in.
Welcome.
You have a backup camera right there that's broadcasting the image on that screen behind you.
That's what we can see.
Yeah, that's what they can see on the website. It's got the webinar going too.
Thank you. So don't stand in front of that camera, look at that. Got it. Okay, so this is just an outline of what we're doing. Privacy and security, overview of graduation accountability calculations, checking the data, common issues, deadlines, and contacts. Sorry, that last one got me going a little faster. When I say the last one, we just did a presentation. I had a half hour to do it, 10 minutes. Okay, next slide. Let's talk about privacy and security. Okay, data protection issues. First off, what we're talking about today with graduation resolution is we are giving you FERPA data or FERPA protected data. This is student level information that has to be protected by federal and state law. You can't just put it out there. And when I say put it out there, this is just like all the rest of student information. You have to be very careful. The problem is there's so many people with so much access to this. We know there are leaks or there are breaches. There is a new state law which says if you are the cause of a breach, you must now notify the parents of that breach. I hope you're aware of this. It is now in effect. Emailing Excel documents, locked or not, is a breach. Let that sink in for a moment. Printing off a list and leaving it in a public place, such as a school, like on a counter or whatever, is considered a breach. Though it's not technical, someone can easily walk in, pick it up, and walk away with it. And so it's a constant battle between how much information can you receive to get your job done versus how much information do we need to restrict because we're worried that there's going to be a data breach. We were up on the Hill on Monday morning talking about security, talking about who owns what data and such. And there is a new culture, a new environment that we are in, where this is a huge concern for all people. Parents, kids, teachers, administrators, legislature, hackers. You're under threat. USOE itself is upwards to 5 million attacks a day, I believe. It might be higher than that. It's huge. Now, this is not one person sitting there trying to get in. This is automated processes coming in from all over the world, attacking our network, trying to get through our firewalls. Okay? I'm sure all of you, if you talk to your IT staff and they say, what kind of attack are you having on our system? They would say, well, it's large. So, first part of what I'm telling you is security is critical. We're giving this access to you because you have to do your job. But at the same time, and so this is where it's kind of this conundrum. Do we give you everything and then just say, well, it's not in our hands anymore, or do we put it out? The training and the requirements are, make sure you understand that this is student information lists that you have to protect. So, the staff who go inside of here, basically, you are being authorized to go in and look at student lists. Does this microphone go out?
Yeah, it does. You have another one?
On. Hello? It's out. Can they hear me? I'm running.
It's just in the room, it's working on the webinar.
Okay, I'll just keep talking into it louder. Okay, so know that you are now being authorized by your LEA to go in and look at this information. That's the first legal step there is inside of FERPA where you have access to this. The second is you need to remember you are protecting PII, your personally identifiable information. That will be your job. And you're agreeing to not share your password or your login. It's a bad habit. We hear it all the time. Our IT director here at USOE loves to hear about it because he goes in instantly and wants those people out. Pause. I can do that.
Testing.
Oh, there we go. Magic. There we go. Okay. Next part. When you're in the data gateway and you have to leave for emergency or whatever, log out or lost your computer. It's common practice throughout the field and industry standards. If you have access to secure information, you log. If you want to designate someone within your staff or your team, there it goes again. Power there. Power's off. Is it working online anymore?
Let me see the battery.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Everyone online's going, what happened?
This is a rechargeable battery, Julie. It's not the...
Okay, for you guys, while we're waiting.
Testing.
Of course.
That battery.
One more.
The rechargeable.
Is
I
Jerry-
have the,
We have another one?
and then,
Okay, so fun story for you guys as we're waiting. I had to do a presentation on a teacher at the Weaver School District. And we looked at every conceivable contingency problem we could think of to make this presentation work. It was kind of a big deal. Had everything checked, except for my
Jerry?
hard drive crashing when I started the presentation. I mean, when things go bad, they will go bad. Murphy's Law. By the way, I lost years and years and years of data when I crashed. But that's pretty minor. You know, start over. Working.
Testing.
Okay, we're back. I apologize for the delay. Okay, so the next part is simply when you leave your computer, lock it, or if you're getting out of the system, log off. It's a simple step, but so many people forget to do that. They just leave it out open. Now, yes, the data gateway does have a time of inactivity where it just automatically locks you off, but don't rely upon that. At our office, we have one person designated as the hacker, if you will. If this individual finds the computer unlocked, they will sit down and change your screensaver. You know that you've been, it's not very nice, but it solves the problem. Anyway, don't save your files to your hard drive, your desktop, to a flash drive, to a portable device. You can access this anytime online, and you can download it as an Excel, or download it as a PDF. Either way works, just don't save it in a place where it can walk away. If you're going to save it to a secure network server, where it is not on your machine. Okay? Any questions about security? We can go on and on and on, and then won't. Make sure, one, assessment director, as you train your people, keep this secure. Okay, next slide. Graduation overview. Where does the rates come from? Basically, No Child Left Behind rules, 2008. Sarah, I'm looking at you. Is that the year it started? Might be up there.
2008.
2008 rules were defined at a federal level, saying this is how we're going to look at graduation. It was adopted in the board rules giving governance of how the calculation is going to be done. You can look that up in R277419-6 if you have nothing else to do. Just realize that this is board rule, this is state rule, and it's federal. How we do graduation. That's just how it is. Sometimes people say, well, wait, that's not correct. We don't want to include these kids. Well, yeah, but they're being included. We have to track every student in the state, what happens to them. The next slide. Okay, who uses graduation rate? It's used in accountability, it's used in research, it's used in reporting, and more. Okay? As you can see inside of there, we have the AMAO, Title I, Federal Accountability, Alternative Accountability, School Grading, the PACE report. Researchers love to look at this information. Graduation rate reports go out. The nation looks at it. There's lots of comparison that's going on with graduation rate. It's a major indicator, and we're all using or attempting to use the same definitions and the same style of calculation to make it equitable across the board. Go ahead to the next slide. All right, accountability rates. Let's talk about this. In the school federal accountability rates, the way graduation is used is exactly as it is calculated in the report that comes out in December. Again, it lags a year, but we take that rate directly across and apply it to your federal accountability. Points for it is simply whatever your point is. So if it's 50%, as we can see in the example here, you times it by 150, you get 75 points towards your total score if you're in high school. It's slightly different in school grading. Please be aware of the nuance between this, because the state said we're going to exclude the retained seniors, the special ed retained seniors. And so when we recalculate that number, it might be slightly different when you compare it between school grades and your federal accountability report and the report you see as the state published graduation rate. Just be aware of that. Any questions on it? Okay, next slide. How's the accountability reports using graduation rate? Again, really simple. For example, we're looking at the 2015 data that will be coming out. The SAGE data, demographic data, the reading on grade level, courses and such, all come from the 2015 year to populate that report. However, it's delayed for the graduation and the ACT simply because there has to be that time delay, because we're giving you time to go in and clean things up all the way to October. Any questions on that? Okay, next slide. Alternative accountability. If you have one of these schools, their graduation rate on their on the alternative accountability report is very different. It doesn't use the rate. We look at the cohort, but we look more at what the exit status is on the students. So for example, graduate gets 300 points, then we look at the GED, age out certificate of completion and such, which is not considered in the rate of the graduate, but they get points for it here in the alternative school. And you can see as we go down and transfer to higher ed or UCAT and so on and so forth, they get different scores. So that's a very different approach to it. Still important for you as you're going through and you're looking at your list saying, how is my alternative school going to be graded or judged, held accountable? This is how it's done, so it's different. Go ahead, next slide. Calculations. All students are placed into a cohort. The cohort starts when they are in 9th grade. And then we track them all the way through when they're expected to graduate. They're a part of that group. So they start in 2005. We will track, 2016, they're 9th graders. We're going to look at them again in 2018 and such. We have to track every single student that enters within that cohort. And there has to be an answer to where did they go by the expected graduation time. It just says up there, cohort is a group of students that are expected to graduate in the same school year. Go ahead and click on the next slide.
So I have a question here.
So question, go ahead.
So I understand this and it's fine, and I agree with it actually. It's been very helpful for our district. There comes a point in time though that it's so first we have a youth in custody school that's trying to get, trying to attract their kids, and they have a kid come for one day and then he runs. And now
he counts against the
he's their cohort. There's nothing in federal that says it has to be 3 days or longer or 2 days or longer.
Okay, so the question is, so let's say, for example, I've got a youth in custody program. A kid enters the system, I register him into my system, mark him as, we'll say, 11th grader, and then he runs away the next day, we don't see him. Who's accountable for that student, that school?
The last school that registered.
The last school. We'll go over the definitions inside of that. It's been updated, there's a new change to it. But yes, we have to track, where did the kid go? He entered the system. He was a part of Utah's student group or the enrollment group. Where did he go? Currently there's no rule of, well, they have to be 10 days in the system or anything like that. They enter the system, or they're in the system.
So we just registered our lot kid in your school, is that okay? No, they can pass.
And the joke is we just register someone else in someone else's district and
So
we're good.
we have not even show up. We're an online school, and sometimes they will enroll and never even log in, and we can't find them.
Yeah. That's why we're doing this training. So the question is, hey, I'm an online school. We have kids who register, but they never even show up. What do we do with them? That's why we're here today to do this resolution training, because there are ways to say they're gone. I don't know where they're at. There are codes that allow for that. Okay, but there is an accountability of where did they go. And as long as we do the correct resolution on them, it's not a problem. Okay, go ahead, next slide.
This was the one.
Oh, sorry. What are the current grade rate rules, or grad rate rules? So No Child Left Behind only considers on-time graduates. If a student graduates prior to their cohort, they're counted as a graduate for their cohort. Early graduates. We catch those. They're early. They're still part of the cohort. If a student graduates after the cohort, they're counted as a non-graduate for their cohort. So even though, like in Utah, we do have a rule or a new law where we can, the graduate recovery program. You bring them in after the expected graduation date, and they graduate and yay, we're good. The rate doesn't change. Okay? Bless you. Okay.
Oh.
Next one. Who counts as graduates? So this is basically what it is. Your graduates are your basic high school completion or diploma. The Carnegie, the military graduate, or early graduate. That's that group. Non-graduates, dropouts, expelled, suspended, withdrawn, late graduate, transferred to adult ed, higher ed, or UCAT, retained senior, aged out, completion certificate, or GED. Okay, the excluded, foreign exchange students, transferred out of state country, transferred to home private school, attending another state, death, medical withdrawal. Those are the excluded groups. Okay, next one. So as we look at this, who counts, some state reporting will divide the non-graduate into the three categories of dropouts, continuing students, and other completers. And as you can see on the screen, depending on when you look at your race, you want to know, hey, where are my kids? They're not all dropouts. Dropout is not an inverse of the graduate rate. That's important to understand. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So, here's basically how it works. The last school enrolled, a student gets credited with the student's graduation status. So, for example, we have this kid in junior high attending 2012 2013, and then he goes to a high school, attends for the 3 years in the high school. That's where that high school gets the graduation credit. Pretty simple, and that's about 80% of the students in Utah. They're easy. They're not moving around. We like these. When I say we like these are easy to calculate, easy to find. We know what's going on with them. So that's the first one. We run through and we say, here's everyone we can find. We find that group and we move forward. Next one. The next rule then was we start falling into the tiebreakers. What do we do to kids to start moving? How do we track them? Here's the new board rule. If a student attends 2 schools in their final year, and one school graduates the student while the other does not, the graduating school is credited. So yes, as I'm looking at the screen, we have the exit date of the 3rd there, and the exit date of the 28th here. Now, before this last year, we changed the rule. This school, number B, because they exited last, would have been credited with a non-graduate. If you look at the status, they graduated here, but they didn't graduate here. Online schools, this is a good example. The question.
No, but related to that, if you look at like credit earned, that A school would be full of them.
Yes.
This other one would have
Repeat that.
little to no credit earned as well.
Okay, the question or the comment added to it is, if you look at the difference between the two of them, school number A would be full of credits and school number B would maybe have 1 or 2 or, whatever. 0. What we're doing is if school A graduates the student, then the credit goes to that school. Okay? That's new in this new calculation we've run this year. Question?
Would they be brought from the B school then?
They don't get, it's only one student.
Repeat that, Aaron.
Okay, so the question is, do they get dropped from the B school? They never get counted to the B school because they're not being counted multiple times in multiple places. A student gets counted once.
On the S3, their exit field would be blank, wouldn't it? Most likely.
In which one? In this,
B.
it'd be, yes, in
Blank.
their final exit status within the S3 data that's meant into UTRAC, so it would say there's nothing there, there's no exit status. And so we go look at, what about the other school? Do they give them some sort of exit status like
Another
regular?
one would be a kid who's, like between Jordan and Canaan, we've had kids who would go to a technical school for 1 course or 2 courses, even though their home school is in a different district that would be school A.
Yeah.
And we worry about numerically what the highest number.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the question. So, for example, if I have a student and we're looking at the Jordan Canyon Technical Center, thank you, where they have a couple students taking a couple classes in the one, but their home school is in another district. Again, it depends upon if their home school, the one has the most credit, actually exits them correctly. If they default and leave it as nothing, then we go to the next tiebreaker. Is there an online question?
Yes, clarification is in-state or
This is, the question is in-state or out-of-state transfers. This is in-state. Out-of-state is a different element. Simply put, we don't track what other state students are doing. So we have no idea. We don't do exchange between state to state. Okay?
But if there's a transfer, the graduating school gets the credit. Okay, got it.
Okay, the question is, if there's a transfer, does the graduating school get the credit? The answer is, well, depending on the exit status here, if there's a transfer, but they graduated and then they transfer, doesn't make, it's weird what happens. Okay, you have to look at the exit status. And we'll go into that in more detail too. Okay, next slide. So, here's scenario number 2 on tiebreaker. If a student attends 2 schools their final year, but neither school graduates the student, then the school with the latest exit date is credited. Well, understand the nuance inside of here. You both come to the end of your school year. By the way, when we look at graduation, we look at your enrollment status and your exit status. We're not diving into your course taking patterns here. What we're looking at is who had you, who's claiming you, and when did they leave. It looks like, and we're running this off hundreds of thousands of instances, and we're like, we've got to make a decision. Tiebreaker simply says, and this has been the practice, the board will say, it's the school that had you last. And if you're not exiting the student, what are you telling us? They didn't graduate. They didn't do anything. We're expecting them to come next year. We have no way of knowing because the school, both of them, didn't exit the student. And so we say, where do they belong? Question on mine.
So going back to the prior slide, if the student got the most credits from A, transfers to B, school A will be credited.
Okay, the question, let's go back to the last slide.
I did.
Thank you. If the question is, if school A has more credit than school B, then school A automatically gets, I'm throwing the word automatically, gets the credit. The answer is no. It is the exit status that the school, the LEA, submits. We don't look at course taking patterns or credits. That's up to the LEA to track. Are you graduating, kid, or not? That makes sense. I'm looking at this room to make sure that they're in agreement. Okay, I'm not looking at people online because I can't see it. Sorry. Anyway, next slide. Okay. Did you go?
It said no.
No.
Repeat the answer.
Okay. Repeating the answer. Here we go. The question again. If
This is the slide set.
School A has more credits than School B. Again, this is the one up on the slide. If you look at it, what's happening is School A is submitting an exit status of graduates. That's what we look at. We don't look at the course.
Or the date.
Or the date in this example. We do look at the date a little bit because it has to run through, but because there's 2 enrollments here, we look at the top one and say, oh, you're exited. You are a graduate. The school is claiming you. That makes sense. More than likely, you're just taking an online course or something at the second school, and they just ended the school at a later date than the first one from School A. Okay?
Excellent was the comment.
Excellent, thank you. Let's move forward. Where are we at?
We are on checking graduation.
Okay, checking graduation data rates. All right. When are we switching? I don't remember. I'll keep talking. Sarah's over there having fun just watching me go. Okay. About 2 hours ago, this report went live. You go into your data gateway.
Can they get in
Yeah.
as administrators?
Yeah. If you have access to this, now there's a couple of Ifs inside of there. If you have access to this, you log into the data gateway. You come down here to My Tools, and you see Graduation Rate Preview. You click on that report.
Not call your friend there
Yeah, if not, don't call me. I'm just kidding.
Reciprocal friend.
There's only 105 of them online.
So let me just state this, there's 105 plus, there's 105 people online, we've got this room full of assessment directors here right now. I can't go out and manage everyone, because I don't know who you are, you could be my neighbor, just trying to hack into the system. There's such a thing as called phishing, trying to get information from me, I don't do that. So if you don't have access to this report, you can go and sign in for an account and then contact your gateway admin at your LEA. Who is that? There is a way to figure out who that is now, by the way. I'll show you that. I don't think I got pushed out yet. There will be a way for you to say, oh, there's an email, just click on it. It's coming in the help. There's that little question mark button, help, or additional information. And your LEA admin and your assessment admin's name and email and whoever you have in there will pop up.
So for, like a registrar at a high school is not going to have a teacher or a student, but would he or she
Repeat
be able
that.
to see the history of the school?
Okay, so the question, a registrar at the high school is not a teacher, doesn't have a Cactus ID to log in. Can they see this information? The answer is generic login, no. Get permission from your LEA, who goes in there and gives you the permission for the graduation rate, yes.
Thank you.
With the caveat that they understand they've got to protect this. We're not just like, oh, let's just give this to everyone. That's why we talked about security at the beginning.
Do you, under development, or the idea, do you want a splash page where people log in to be able to review this?
What's the splash page?
Just a review the data agreement.
Yes, okay. So, yeah, when you log in and you have access to it, there are 2 pages that you will have to go through, which simply say, this is information that you need, we understand this. Page number 2 is keep it secure, and there's those 4 simple security agreements that you agree to follow that. That will be renewed. Right now, we're planning on just once a year, so you have to go through that. If things get, we start seeing some awfulness happen, and we might revisit that and say, maybe it's every quarter or something. I don't know how often you see your user agreement in your district. I know, so we see it every single day. Just be aware that that's there. So it might be a couple times a year we're working on it. But anyway, you click on the graduation rate, and you have 2 possibilities, an Excel or a PDF. Go ahead and click next. I don't think it's in there. Okay, this is the other one. So if you're a Utrex user, so there's multiple ways, there's 2 reports out there. And some of you have had access to this, or you want to get access to this. The Utrex side of the gateway, you can click on that, go into the reports, and there is the 4-year graduation cohort report. This is updated every time data is uploaded to Utrex. So these 2 reports are slightly different. The one in the Utrex side is the live one. Let's say you did an update on a student, and then you immediately jumped inside of there and said, oh wait, it's not done yet. Well, yeah, it has to be uploaded into the system. The system has to basically cycle through the whole state, and then you can see it. If another LEA is cycling on that same student, there will be a little hiccup inside of it. Just realize that is a live poll. Go back 1 slide. This one that we're pointing at right here, this graduation rate preview, is the calculated one that we are, if we did nothing, this would be your graduation rate right now. Okay? It's ready, well, okay, it's ready to go. It's ready to go hypothetically. We'll start hearing from you and say, oh, we got to update this and this, and that's not my student, and we got to transfer them the correct question.
Can they get it through, when we give them the cert file next week, and assessment directors then give it to their registrars?
Is that a question of mine or from you?
Me.
Okay. The question is, can the schools, when they get their cert files, grab this and give it to the registers? The answer is, well, yeah.
I mean, that's the third way to.
That's the third way to go get access to this. If you know how to go into your cert and pull this, I believe there's a query on the site that pulls it. If there's not, I don't know, I don't do the cert details. Is the data inside of it? Yes. You said, yeah,
It's often not updated though in the first cert release. They're
It
all
is right now.
graduation pending.
It's right now.
Yeah.
We just ran it, we checked it, we made it ready.
So are you gonna run those rate tables in the surf deck? And then rerun them after October when everything's finalized?
Great.
The EHS cohort grad rate and stuff?
The graduation rate tables that's in SERP will be turned out on the 27th.
Yes.
So current but not ready for publication.
No,
Right,
not
right,
ready.
right.
Not ready for- Yeah, this is, let's review our data, let's clean this up, because simply what you have, the opportunity now is between the end of the school year when you submitted your data, to clean up everything. Maybe there's some kids that are still pending graduation, whatever. You have until October, we're gonna say 7, which is the first soft deadline for submission. The 15th is the deadline. October 1 counts. Once that is submitted, we're done. I know some people say, no, we go back and change it. What we're saying right now, this is the window of opportunity. This is the second window of opportunity, if you will, because you have one on the UTREC side. This now is, it's been calculated, we've run through, we've applied all the business rules. Where are they?
I mean, all the kids, those who were credit short half the summer, so they
Yes.
get credit to do it. So I mean, we're waiting on,
You repeat
not
that?
tracking down kids, we're waiting for a certain group to put in their, and verify the credit status so they can have that in the form.
Absolutely. So the question or the comment is simply, we could still be waiting for students to finish up requirements to get their graduation degree. And it's, yeah, absolutely, that's what it's there for. You have time to clean it up, summer school, to get things done, to say, yes, they're done, mark them, move forward. But October 1 is, when I say October 1, it's the October 1 load, it's the 15th. I think it's the 15th, or they have one of those goofy dates that calendar date things on it, but realize we've got until then to get this cleaned up and checked. And if you don't, then we can't change the information after that date. Things have to happen very quickly right after that. So,
So you used to give us a couple days, we used to get finalized, here it is, and you'd give us like a day to look at the finalized, to double check on.
next screen. Oh, it's up here.
Oh.
Let's go back. Sorry. So the question is, we gave you a couple days to check the finalized and so forth. So right now, graduation is, we'll put this up in January, we'll put it up in August, which we're doing right now, and we'll put it up in November. November will be the finalized before it's publicly released. No changes.
But so it'd be kind of nice to be able to see it in October, where we've made all our changes and see if they stuck. Because we've submitted stuff in the past that doesn't always.
Next slide. Next
So
slide.
let's say use that.
Right there. So the question is, hey, I made an update, can I see my update? The answer is yes.
But that's not working right now, right?
No, it is working.
It is working. It doesn't have the new tiebreaker rule in it yet. We plan on having that by
We
Monday.
tried to pull that like a week ago and it wasn't working.
It's working now.
Okay.
The question is this working? The answer is yes, it's working. There is a couple of updates, little tweaks that we have to put inside of there.
By Monday.
Sarah promised by Monday.
I didn't promise.
That's up, I'm standing in front of the screen, it should be over here. Okay, next slide. Oh, also be aware that your Uzi reports, this is from the Adult Education, Continuing Education Report, is available. You can download this September and October anytime. If kid transferred to a different institution like higher ed or through CP, whatever, and they graduate down a different track, that information's right there. You can go in and update it. Now, truthfully, if they're getting a certificate of completion, they're not a graduate, but they're also not a dropout. So let's go back to understanding the definition of how is graduation calculated and reported, and understand the difference between then continued students, other completer, and dropout. Okay? Next slide. I think that's what we just talked about.
Next slide.
Okay. I'll just restate this. Graduation rate differences. The graduation rate preview. You have 3 times a year, that is at that time the official. Okay. The federal 4-year graduation cohort, not official, updated daily in UTREX. We just kind of talked about that. And then the out-of-state Uzi report is the adult graduates, updated 2 times a year. And it's available again inside of the John Gateway for you. Next slide. Common issues. This is one of the tag team and what Sarah comes to talk to you. You have to hold it up to it. Like
You
you're
just
rapper.
try to stand.
Can you see my arms?
Yes.
They don't have enough.
Sarah, can you try to stand in front of me?
So you get the camera.
Well, because
There
with
you
the
go.
mic and everything.
All right, so now we're going to go over some common issues that a lot of people see when they pull this report, and they're like, whoa, this student does not look right. So these are kind of ways you can clean it up and make sure we're getting accurate data that's reflecting what's actually happening to your students. So the first scenario, and please ask a lot of questions. If you have scenarios you see a lot and we don't cover it here, please ask about them. I'm sure other people have seen them as well. So first scenario, we have a student that's showing up as a dropout for your school, but you know they went to another school in the state. You're like, I talked to that school, I know they went to such and such school, why are they still on my report card, and they're showing up as a dropout? Any of you guys seen that? Yeah, we did this one a lot. Most likely it's because of the SSIDs. We track kids with SSIDs, so if they go to another school and have a new SSID at that school to the state, it looks like 2 completely different students. So all we see is the last time we saw this SSID was in your school. So go check with that school, make sure it's the same student, make sure the student actually showed up. If you're like, yes, he actually did go to this new school, you're like, hey, what SSID did you use? Find out if it's a different one. You can email our SSID help desk and they will merge the 2 SSIDs. Once that happens, we see that, oh, this is the same student, they're actually attending this later school, and they should disappear from your report. Questions on this scenario?
So you send back an email saying, yes, we've merged the student, and we would wait a couple days and rerun the report.
Repeat the question,
to verify
Sarah.
it's gone away.
So the question was, do we send you an email that says they've been merged and then wait a couple of days and then it should be gone on the report? The answer is, I'm not quite sure what the SSID help desk does. Have any of you, do they email you?
They send you an email.
Okay, so they do send you an
Who
email.
asked for it and what 2 districts are involved.
Oh, okay, so they send you an email back, say what 2 districts are involved, and once that's done, the UTREX report that we showed you that's updated every time you load your data, as soon as you reload your data, it should update that student for you. The one that we submit 3 times a year, you're going to have to wait till the next official report comes out. So that one will take a bit.
I have an online question.
Okay, online question.
This is from Shelley Harper. We have had students that have same SSID but still show up for us.
If you have merged the 2 SSIDs and it's still showing up, give us a call and we'll look at why. It could be the other school that they went to never actually enrolled them, or perhaps they exited them before your school. We can say, okay, this is exactly why. Does that answer the question?
She hasn't responded. So
Okay,
we'll see.
so
Would we do that through SSID help?
do what?
You said,
The merges?
Contact us.
yeah.
Oh, when I say
you directly.
contact us.
Okay,
Who
who is us? Yeah.
I won't give the answer, and Sarah won't like this. The answer is,
You need
if
to-
you run into, Sarah, repeat the answer. Okay.
So people can.
If you run into a technical issue you can't solve, depends on who you are, first off.
Again, you gotta be your.
Yeah, you can't, it's not about me being your friend. If you can't solve this problem and you're a registrar, talk to your assessment director or talk to your IT person, ask them to help you with this. Okay? If the issue is still unsolvable, you're like, I don't know what's going on, then please call Sarah.
I'll be your friend.
Sarah will always be your friend. She'll go in and she'll do the research behind what we're seeing so we can come to a resolution.
Sarah, is your contact information?
My contact information is at the end, so it will be there.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so this may also be what the online person is asking. Sometimes you think they've gone to another school, but they're still showing on your report, and there was no second SSID. So you're like, why are they showing on the report? They never had a SSID that needed merged. Sometimes students don't actually, and you guys probably know this better than me, they don't actually go to the next school, or they go to a different school than they reported to the original school. They said, hey, we're going to go to this other public school down the street, and then they end up going to a private school, which would not show up on the state data. Because we don't get private school data, we don't get homeschool data, we don't get other states' data. So if they went to another place other than a public school, they still look like they last went to your school, and you're telling us they transferred to another public school, and we're like, well, we can't find them. So you can go back to the student and be like, okay, or the parents, I guess, who you go to, be like, where exactly did you go? Oh, you decided to be homeschooled. Go in, update the code from transfer to a public school to transfer to homeschool or a private school or wherever they went. Sometimes the kid just drops out of school. You can update it to a dropout. Unfortunately, it's always sad.
Sometimes you don't have a current number and you're just going with their last intent that they said and have to do it is that's when you get to the definition of what the state wants as evidence. Because it could be what the call-in intent was and you can't find it anymore to resolve it.
Okay, so the comment is, summed up and not said quite as nicely, is that you don't always know or you can't always track them down and find out where they've gone. You just have to go with their last intent. And I do know that these codes get audited. Make sure you have a paper trail somehow, either email, something written by the parent where they've gone, transcript, something is basically what the auditors will look for when auditing these codes. And unfortunately, you're right. Sometimes you just don't know. They get counted as an unknown student, and they count as a dropout, unfortunately. Okay, next. Okay, so we get this a lot where you're like, wait a minute, this student doesn't seem like they should be graduating with this cohort. You're like, they're an 11th grader, and you're saying they're supposed to graduate at the end of the year. Why isn't it next year? So for example, this year, you could have an 11th grader in 2015, this last school year. You're like, wait a minute, they should graduate 2016. So a possibility is previously an incorrect grade was submitted. If when they were in 8th grade, somebody accidentally submitted a 9th grade record, we would have set that cohort year, the year they were first said to be in 9th grade. So then they go from 9th grade, 10th, 11th. We think they should be graduating at 4 years later, and you're like, this doesn't make sense. So go back in. You can see in UTREX, you can put in the student ID and the student search, see their grade levels for the last few years. If you see, hey, wait, this grade doesn't look right, contact that school that put in the grade and see if he really was in that school at that grade or if it was a typo. If it was a typo, we can update it in our system and update the cohort. Sometimes it's not a typo. Sometimes kids just need to repeat a grade in order to pass it, in order to get their feet under them and move on. If they repeat a grade in high school, they're not graduating on time in the 4 years. Unfortunately, they count as a dropout for you, per federal rule. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, sometimes you see the registrar will go in and update a code for a kid in a past year. For a previous example, say you found out you really went to private school, you go back to 2015 data and update it to transfer to private. Then you go into UTREX and you look at the report and you're like, whoa, it's still showing as dropout, transfer to another school. The reason for this is UTREX does not accept past year data. So if you're updating past year data, it will never make it into the state. Okay? So what you need to do, and you can ask your IT folk about this if this doesn't make sense, we have something called an S1X record that you submit to update past year data. So make sure you're doing that. That's one of the things you want to check if data is not making it through the UTREX.
And how often can you submit an S1 Max record?
On a student?
No, on a group of students or whatever.
I don't quite understand.
If I
your
send
question.
S1X record every day, there's a change from previous years, I can send another S1X record? Or do I just do that in October? Or,
You can send an S1X record anytime throughout the year. For the current graduating cohort class, it won't make it into our official rate if you do it after October 15th. And so yeah, you just submit it daily until after we've run the rate. And that's it.
then you have to keep sending it every single time?
Yes, you have to keep sending it every single time, because remember, you upload it to us daily, but we don't take an official count of all your data until October 15th, December 15th, and July 7th. So if you send it in one day and then the next day you don't send it in to us, we assume that you updated the data and corrected it and didn't really mean to send it in the first place. Does that make sense? So essentially, whatever's in the system on October 15th, we figured that's what you wanted to send us, that's the official data. Yes?
When you speak of current year in this system, you're talking about the most recent graduation cohort.
When I say current year, I mean current school year. So data for now, the current school year is 2015-16 school year.
So does that mean that as we continue to clean up exit codes, we need to use an S1X record to do
So
that?
the question is, as we clean up exit code, we need to use an S1X record to do it? Yes. You need to use it
2015 cohort.
for the 2015 cohort. If you want to update an exit code, use an S1X record that's sent in with the 2016 data. Essentially, that S1X record just tells us updated prior year.
So just to restate, any changes to the current, the 2016 exit codes, we just upload regularly via the UTREX, no problem, just change it in our SIS and it's done.
No.
Anything we have to change about the prior school year, we have to attach to that record with an S1X.
Correct.
Graduation data is prior year.
Well, right, right.
You just clarify that,
restating,
sir.
If you want to update a record for the
After July
2016
1st,
school
right?
year, say a kid exits on the second day of school, and you mark him as a transfer to homeschool, and then he ended up transferring to private school, and you want to update that exit code, just update it in your system and resend it to us for 2016.
This is the IT people who've been trained on this official S1X form.
Yeah, the question was, have the IT people been trained on the S1X record? Yes, they have. We mention it every single data conference. If they have questions on it and you go and tell them, make sure to put this on an S1X record, and their eyes glaze over, they have no idea what you're talking about, have them contact our UTREX help desk, and they will be able to walk them through exactly how to submit
So
it.
the schools maybe directly go to the IT or the assessment director who then goes to the person to truly fix last year's tech lead.
So the question is, the schools need to go to their IT or assessment director. Most registrars should already know how to use this S1X record. I realize in the room is mostly assessment directors. So most registrars should know how. If they don't, go to their IT personnel. They can train them on it. If the IT personnel don't know, contact the UTREX help desk and they can get them trained on it. But this has been the case for the past 3 years we've had this record. And I've seen some people make mistakes thinking they can update past year's data without using it, which is why we bring it up. But most people by now should know about how to update this way.
Thank you.
Any other questions on this topic? Okay, so we just want to go over deadlines again because these are important. When is graduation data due by? For your 2015 graduates. They should have graduated, most of them, about May or June. They are due by the upcoming October 15th deadline. If you call me before that, and anybody in our office, and say, hey, something's wrong, can we fix it? Say, yes, we'll work with you, we'll be ecstatic that you're looking at it. You contact me on October 15th, and I will pull my hair out and be like, why do you do this to me? I can't update anything. So,
Don't do that to Sarah.
no, I kind of like my hair a little bit. So we will help you all day long before October 15th to make sure you understand the rules, why kids counting away, how to fix kids that are counting incorrectly, up until October 15th. Okay, we're
So
on.
all S1X records have to be submitted by the 15th.
Yes, all S1X records for the 2015 graduating class have to be submitted by October 15th. you want to update your 2016 cohort, you have until next October 15th, 2016. Okay? Right, so this is just kind of a review of everything. So most students will graduate in about June or May. The Uzi and grad reports that are official, that we submit 3 times a year, will come out about August, so you can review those and make sure everything's as you expected. The Uzi report is then updated again in October, the beginning of October. Then all updates are due October 15th. We run the reports, we give you guys kind of prior notice about what's going on, and then they are official in December. Questions about the deadline? Good. No questions, which means none of you should be calling me on October 16th.
Sorry, I'm gonna show.
Go one more. Yeah. And here, ta-da, my contact information, and my boss.
I was just going to show you one more thing. Will you jump to the website?
Emily's
Go ahead. And then
supposed to do that.
Where's
Emily?
Oh, what are we doing?
We're jumping to the website. I'm actually going to show you it works.
She had a
I'm
special
going
way
to show
to.
you one more component that was just added for the registrars.
I've never done it.
Share my screen.
Here's Emily. Can you come get on the website for us? Just to show you one thing.
Okay. There's one more element that was just added. This came from the Utrecht user group. They made a request. They said a lot of times registrars can't look up students who are outside of their district. It's very frustrating. What do they do? Well,
When
we
you're
said,
hunting for
okay,
somebody, yeah.
we've got to give you a tool to do this. Now, I don't give you access to this tool. You have to go to your, again, your web admin, your Utrecht admin. So if you click on the data gateway, launch it, the individual go log in. I'm going to log in. I'm not giving it to you, sorry. Jill, I got to change my password. Jill saw what I did. Okay, so what it is, for those who already have Utrecht, and this is just so you know, the Utrecht users can already do this. It's not a problem. There's a student search that Sarah talked about. Again, we're just working with the, is this plugged in? Should, the Ethernet, so. Okay, so this is the Utrecht. Some people are like, oh, don't show me anything, but there is a student search button inside of Utrecht. This is only for the Utrecht people to go in and look at. What we're saying is, can the registrars get access to this? And we said, no, absolutely not, because this gives you everything about that student. So what we've done is inside of My Tools, we've added a report called Student Locator. It looks identical to it, but the permissions are slightly different depending on the user. But this allows you now to type in first name, last name, middle name, birthday, SSID, student ID, year, and do a search. Search the whole state, our database.
Public schools. Public schools.
It's public schools. The Utrecht database. Where's this kid? Where are they? And it will give you, depending on how you put your filters on there, a list of the students and all their registration or their enrollment records that we have. If you're a Utrecht user, you can click on the name and it'll give you the full information. If you're not a Utrecht user, you can't click on the name, but it'll tell you where they're at.
So this could potentially help us resolve the dual SSID issue?
Yes. So they say, can this potentially help us with the dual SSID issues? Yes, it can. Now, who gives you permission for this? Again, you have to go to your admin, who is your Utrecht's IT person. I don't know who that is in your district. They can assign this to you. The assessment director users do not assign this. Okay? If you need this, go talk to the correct people. Okay? I will just show you to prove the point. So we're looking at the live database. The report's there. It's gonna take a second to pull it, it's gonna say, what district do I want, because I'm the state, it's better. Okay? Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you, Erin. And a big thanks to Sarah for putting the PowerPoint and everything together. And what an amazing presentation. So, merit badge, Sarah. Great job.
Absolutely.
Yes. So hopefully that answered a lot of questions that is, and those folks online, we appreciate you being there. And hopefully we got your questions answered. And we thank you for attending today. We know it's been a long morning, lots of information. Oh, and Tori's asking us to sign in again as you leave to make sure that we have both trainings for you signed in. Anyway, thank you so much, and we will see you next month.
Here. So can you look at this? I look at every and my role. So I'm parking.
Yes, I gave you really dirty looks last night.
So, but he just emailed us and said he doesn't want to so then how what's the goal now? That's the goal. So both you or I can discuss
We're just taking the
Oh, yeah.
Or I will join you for.
well, we're still talking about it. We haven't decided. He doesn't want to be. But I also that's the problem, right? He doesn't really be admin, but I think probably the way it's set up now is good because then I can navigate I have, what did you check like the play on purpose? Because they blow in my mind. So, so is it the Utrecht school user role that I give to that individual then? Is it restricted to which one? For the registrars to look up kids across district boundaries. So that's what I get access to. So I add my registrars to that. Okay. Training person what? Training beyond what they get today. What do you have to get on?
We're gonna put some training videos together. When I say train them, really what I guess I mean mostly. You let them know that there's security issues all there.
They don't have to, my the data security